He wants term limits for justices, more ethics transparency for the Supreme Court, and for the president, no more immunity for any president for crimes committed while in office. Let's bring in Harvard Law Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz and NewsNation correspondent at large Geraldo Rivera. Gentlemen, thank you both. I believe, Professor, the only one that has a shot is reforming the immunity laws of the president, that Congress might consider that. Do you see any of this happening, especially because term limits would require a constitutional amendment, and I don't think we could get one on what the name of this country is?
I think also the immunity case requires a constitutional amendment. The Supreme Court, correctly or incorrectly, found a constitutional basis for immunity. They went too far, I think, in also imposing evidentiary restrictions, and maybe Congress can pull back a little on that. Now, I'm in favor of term limits, but they require a constitutional amendment. Now, the thing that I think does have a chance of getting through, and here I disagree with you, is the ethics provision. I think it's clearly constitutional for Congress to impose ethics provisions and to impose and to have even a committee, say a committee of former justices, judges, university presidents, whatever, to come to conclusions about legal ethics. I think the Supreme Court today is untethered when it comes to legal ethics. Having said that, I think this is all badly motivated. I don't think that President Biden or Larry Tribe, who helped write this thing, give a damn about the structure of the Supreme Court. They're just mad at the Supreme Court for having ruled against them. If they had ruled in favor of them, none of this proposal would have been done. It's much like what happened in Israel, where you had judicial reform being pushed by the right because the right didn't like the fact that the left was being held by the Supreme Court. Here you have the left pushing it because it doesn't like the fact. It's all hypocrisy. It has nothing to do with structural or institutional reform. The entire legal system has become captured and weaponized by politics. That's the tragedy.
Well, the professor is right with the last point. There's no question about that. And I would say, Geraldo, he is also right about ethics reform getting through, except the Republicans would see it as an attack on their own justices, and that's why I don't think they'll touch it. What do you make of it?
Well, I think that they might see it that way because Chief Justice John Roberts has already imposed an ethical standard that did not heretofore exist at the High Court, and now, for instance, they're not allowed to take some billionaire's private jet, which I think is a very good thing, and there should be full disclosure, absolutely. But I think Congress mucks up everything. But I think that this particular project of President Biden is very curious, coming as it does in the eve of his presidential tenure. He's talking about term limits, for instance, Chris. He wants an 18-year term limit on justices, and yet he served 36 years in the United States Senate. So did he get the 18 by dividing his own tenure in the Senate by half? So I think that it is to me very curious that they would expend this much energy this late in a president's term with so little possibility of anything happening. Now, if Congress gets it, as the professor suggests, and they mull over what ethics reform should they impose on the High Court, can you imagine what a mess that will be? That'll go nowhere. It just seems to me that you started the show with Israel and what happened in Golan and the dead Israeli children. That's why isn't Congress focused on that instead of this nutty nonsense that amounts to nothing?
Well, look what's happening.
Because it's
the Jews.
We have real
because it's the Jews.
Yeah, because we have real starvation in Sudan. Many, many, many more innocent people are starving, but Jews aren't doing it. And so nobody cares. Black lives only matter when they're taken by white people or other people, but they don't seem to matter to a lot of people when they're taken by other black people, like in the Sudan. Sudan is a real starvation. There's not going to be a single college protest. There's not going to be a single UN resolution. There's not going to be a single ICC investigation because Jews are involved. You're absolutely right, Chris.
I mean, look, the Golan Heights. These were Druze kids, right? I know Druze, Jews. They're a totally different sect. They're a minority sect. They serve in the military. They're Israelis, okay? And it doesn't matter, not because they're Druze and not Jews. It's not paying attention because it's Israel. And if Israel did the same thing in Gaza or in Rafah, it's all we would be talking about.
Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of NewsNation's fact-driven coverage.